Well, hey friends, good morning. Today we're going to talk about gold prospecting and metal detecting. And one of the most common questions that I've received via email is, what should I buy first? How do I get started? What are my choices? Where should I spend my money? And as we all know, people are getting tax refunds right now. Some of them are small, some of them are large, some people pay. But if you're getting a good tax refund, this may be on your mind. So let's talk about this stuff. Let's see where you can get the most bang for your buck. And I want to share something with you is if you're choosing a metal detector as your first choice of prospecting equipment, you have a double challenge. You have to learn how to find gold and you have to learn how to use your detector. And in my opinion, that's doubly tough. When I started out prospecting back in the 80s, I started out panning and sluicing and dredging and dry washing. By the time I got seriously into detecting around 2000, the late 90s, 2000, I had years and years of gold recovery experience in front of me. And it just made it easier. Now I know we're not all the same. Some people could just pick up a detector and go, and the learning curve doesn't matter. But I think it's a lot easier to get started and see gold every single day. And keep one thing in mind. People, prospecting as a hobby especially has picked up a lot in the last couple decades. And anytime we have stuff like inflation, gold price spiking, all this, more and more people want to get into it, and more people are going to get scammed. And that's just the simple truth of it. One thing you got to keep in mind is how you spend your money. What are your choices? What are your alternatives? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. It's going to pop up on the screen. Are you ready? Alrighty. I'm going to put my glasses on and we will rock and roll. So the first thing let's look at is let's say that you've been, getting into the hype of the detectors and you want to get the newest, most up-to-date, get the edge kind of thing. The GPX 6000, which ironically costs $6,000. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying this. Hey, if that's what you want to buy, it's a great machine. Buy it and enjoy it. I'm not trying to talk you out of that decision, and I'm not knocking it as a piece of equipment. I want to open your eyes and share some alternatives with you. So let's just think about that. Now you can buy used detectors for much cheaper. In fact, I use a GP Extreme for about 15 years, almost exclusively. And I sold it 2 years ago for $750. I paid for that thing over and over and over again. And it was just time to let it go. I let it go to a guy who I've talked to on the forums and other places on the internet over the years. $750. He got extra coils and batteries. It was a screaming deal. As far as I know, he's still using it today. In fact, he emailed me last year asking me some questions, and I'm like, dude, it's been years. Just you'll have to figure it out. But there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of great used equipment out there. So let's take a look at one more thing here as we go through. And this is really a cost evaluation model. And you can see for the same price of a brand new GPX 6000, for that same price, actually much less, almost $1,200 less, you could buy a dry washer, a gold wheel, and that's to help you go through your concentrates and get the gold. You could file a claim, join a club, buy a sluice, get a rock crusher, and buy a gold bug or a gold monster for less than that new GPX 6000. So that's totally amazing. And I will show you a couple things here. Let's go ahead and switch our windows. Let's just go through this as a realistic price model, right? So you have your 6,000, and I'm on Keen's website, and I love Keen for a couple of reasons. Number one, they make great equipment. I absolutely love their equipment. I've been using it for decades. Number two, they take good care of their customers. It only takes one bad customer service interaction to ruin it for you. Years ago, I had a Keen 151, and the stand got damaged on it. Oh, this coffee is good. I called Keen up, and I talked to, I believe, Pat Keen, one of the Keen family members, told him what I needed. And that was like $100 or $200 brand new back then. I don't remember what the cost was, but what was cool is he goes, hey man, let me call you back in a few hours. We got a lot going on, but I think I have a used one back there. I'll give it to you for 25 bucks. 3 or 4 hours went by, he called me. He's like, hey bro, I got it for 25 bucks. You don't need to buy a new one. Sent it to me, shipping and everything, $25. He earned a customer for life that day. He took care of me. That was incredibly important. And to me, it made a huge difference, made a huge impact on who I want to buy from and to continue to buy from. So here you go, $1,550. You've got a vacuum cleaner and a dry washer. You're off to the races. Maybe you want a dredge. Maybe add 1,000 to that, 2,500. This is again keen, and no one is paying me. I'm not getting any kind of promotion. I'm not getting any money, any equipment for doing this. I'm just simply sharing my opinion. So there you go. There's your dredge for 2,500. Again on keen. You want a high banker, a little bit more maybe. And honestly, you could make a high banker pretty darn easy if you know how. All you really need is a sluice and what's called a trash pump. It's just basically a water pump for a few $100 and a 5-gallon bucket, man. You can really make one that'll work. So you don't have to buy all this stuff. You can make some of your own stuff too. A gold wheel. Well, what if you want to, help with processing of your concentrates? Looking at these prices, I'm guessing 350 is a pretty good mid-range. How about a mining claim? Check it out. You file your own mining claim for $225. Now you can go buy one online, which will cost you thousands of dollars, and it'll probably be misrepresented as private property and land that you own if it's unpatented. And there's a lot of scammers out there selling, but you can file your own. It's pretty darn easy. Now gold clubs, there's varying prices for everything depending on the size, location of the club, whoever's running it. But I'm just going to throw $100 a year out there as a reasonable cost. And I know that's not true for every club, but there's plenty of clubs like that. Plenty of them. Let's take a look here. What else we got? Sluices for sale, and we're looking at hand sluices. And I think you're going to pay right around $100 for a decent sluice. You can probably get one online at an estate sale. You go in person, much cheaper. Probably get a lot of great stuff. In fact, I went to an estate sale last year and I bought a bunch of stuff for pennies on the dollar. A lot of great equipment. How about a rock crusher? Let's say you want a rock crusher. Even starting here with a GForce, and I've had a GForce, I sold it. Man, it's a great rock crusher. $14.95. And here's what I want you to understand is, where's this $6,000 going that you're spending on the GPX 6000? Is it just one piece of equipment? Or do you want to take that same $6,000 and have a lot more equipment? How about a Gold Bug? Gold Bug 2. I love the Gold Bug 2. I still have my Gold Bug 2. Between probably $800, $900, you're into your Gold Bug. And of course the Gold Monster, the same thing. Now you can probably go get an SDC, GPX 5000, whatever it is, used much, much cheaper, and put that in here too, and maybe raise the price a little bit, above the cost difference of what I'm showing you, but you're still not going to spend a $6,000, and you honestly do not need all this equipment. The whole idea is to go out and have fun. If you can have fun, then you can be profitable, but you're never going to be profitable if you're frustrated. And budgeting decisions will help you stay unfrustrated. So let's go ahead and switch back to looking at Excel for a second. And again, this is just cost difference. This is huge. So you can buy one piece of equipment, an expensive piece of equipment, for $6,000. Maybe you're spending $5,000, $4,000, whatever it is. But still, the concept here I want you to understand is, instead of one big purchase, why not fit a bunch of different things in here? No matter which way you go, whether you buy the one big piece of equipment or you buy the multiple, if you don't like it, you can sell it. And the only dealer I'm going to recommend that I've shown you here is Keen. I'm not going to recommend anybody else to you that I've shown here. Now, as far as buying metal detectors, there are a couple people I would recommend. Rob Allison, Bill Southern. They're great guys. They'll take care of you. As far as I know, they ship all over the world, and they will take care of you. They've been in business a long time. They probably give you a great deal. But I'm not shilling them either, just because I know them. I'm just telling you have a lot of choices out there. You don't have to just do the one thing. It's not necessary. There's so many different things you can do with this money. And as far as getting started, I'll tell you a story of my friend. I had a buddy. He got started, and this was before we met, was where this story began. Is he was up in Prescott, and he didn't want to spend a lot of money. The dude actually went and bought a 10-cent pie tin from like a thrift store, something like that. It was some cheap thing. It didn't cost him more than $1, whatever it was. Maybe he paid $1 for it. And he went up to Lynx and he started panning. Well, he panned enough gold, and he got a real pan. And he got a Sluice, then he got this, and he panned his way up to a Minelab SD-2100. And by the time I met him, was right about the time that he was about to buy a detector. And I let him borrow my White's GMT. He found gold with it. He started really, really loving it. It was a lot of fun. And then he bought the SD. And he found a ton of gold with the SD-2100. And the SD was, you know, kind of what they considered a dinosaur at the time. But it just goes to show you, you can start anywhere and work your way up. You don't have to start at the top, because a lot of people start at the top and work their way down. But you can start very simply. You do not have to start with a huge budget. Everything I just showed you, what you're seeing here, you can add more to it. Hey, if you got a budget of $20,000, go ape shit. Do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. The choice is always yours, what you do with your money. But the average person that I've talked to is really on that teetering decision of I want to buy the latest and the greatest, and it's largely due to hype, because this shit gets hyped. But you decide what's right for you, what path is correct for you, and once you've made that decision and you figured it out, go for it. But if it was me and I was getting started right now, and you're going to see a ton of stuff. As inflation goes up and gold price goes up, you're going to see more and more claims for sale, more and more people looking to prospecting, thinking they're going to make a lot of money on it. But if that's you, think about how you're going to spend it. Don't just rush in with this mindset of, hey, I'm going gold prospecting, I'm going to get rich, because you probably will not. I can almost guarantee that you will not. And this is really, it's really about having a good time. It's about having fun. And once you really kind of understand that it's about having fun, you know, it's going to change for you. The world's going to absolutely change for you. Everything that's going on, the way you're going to think about it. So keep that in mind. I'll kind of make this a little bit bigger so you can see my face. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As I've mentioned before, my email address is in the About section on the YouTube channel. Feel free to reach out anytime with something you'd like to see a video on, concerns, comments, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll get around to talking about them. But I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you later.